Since you wanted to know how the Poo Pingi was done and why it was done, so I will tell the short story. When I was a small boy, like the age of this kid here, I was watching my grandpas bring the Poo Pingi. And why would they do the Poo Pingi? When a child like this, coughing a lot and it's in a very serious critical condition, and he might die, and I would be very worried. Just like, even now I would be very worried if this child gets sick. So then the parents of the child would come to my grandpa, and he would go. They would say, well, could you able to say even why this child is getting sick? And then said, okay, I'll come. And he goes to the relative of the child. Well, in an example of a child, maybe it's an old man, or maybe it's an old lady, or a middle-aged young man. But, in this case, example is this child here. And then he goes and says, well, everybody be quiet in this house. I will speak to I will enter into the realm of the spirits. And then the spirit, I will talk with the spirits with my my magical terms and all that. And then he will get into his bag and pull out a couple of leaves from the bush. And it's a special leaves. It's called a waiapo leaf. He gets that, and then he makes it, put them in a nice order, like this, and then he would make it, round it up, make it into a conical shape, like this. And then be sure that there's the other side has a big enough hole. Then makes it like this, and then puts his mouth into the hole, and then he would say, he will ask the spirits. Then he would sit down there, and all people in the house are very quiet because he is talking with the spirits. So he would say, is this the old grandmother who is holding onto the spirit of this child? Or is it the old great-grandfather of this child? Or is this the brother who died recently? Is that spirit holding onto the spirit of this living child? Yeah. It's the brother. Oh, well, the brother is doing this. Hold on to the soul of this little child, and it's coughing so seriously, so maybe he might take his soul away, and you won't have his soul. No, now he doesn't want to talk. To square the leaf out, and maybe you will hear from the, things. I don't leave the spiritual things, so I have to put it in my bag so that no child could take this, otherwise they'll die. This part of the spiritual things. What do you want? Oh, yeah, you want what? Why are you doing that? And what can satisfy you if we, you want, what do you want us to do? I'll require the big brown mother pig. The soul of that will satisfy me. Okay. So we are clear that you are the small brother who died recently. Is that right? Yes, yes. The end of the divination, or this spirit conversation ended. So then he interprets it. He requires that. Do you have a big brown mother pig? Sow? Is that what you call it? Big sow? Yes. I want my child to live. So the value of the pig is not as big as my child. So kill that. Give the spirit. So the pig is killed, and intending that my child will live. Sacrifice that pig to the brother who died and whose spirit is living downstairs, and who is coming up and disturbing my child's life here. The end of the thing. So now they do the ceremonial killing. They're doing the sacrifice. That's end of the poping.
Good one.
Is that interesting?
Yeah.
And what is the Poo Pingi's payment?
The payment of the poping is normally the heart and the liver of the pig, because that's where the soul lives. And then also he gets half of the pig, and he carries away.
What's it like when? Have you ever heard okay, so there's that ceremony where the poping ceremony, it has the sacrifice in it, right?
That's right.
Is there a way when you share the gospel with someone that you talk about God and the sacrifice of Jesus, and that's the real sacrifice? Is there a way to tie that in, or?
That's how the gospel was tied here by the missionaries and the pastors who have learned the gospel. We see that Jesus was the sacrifice, God's sacrifice for our life.
Yeah.
That he sacrifices so that the whole human race could have life.
Yeah, so that's the way you can share the gospel with.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what are we doing?
Yeah.
That's
Take the culture and then make it make sense with the story of God.
You're right indeed, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. So now I used to learn all those secrets, but then I don't want to use them because I'm using this wonderful process, and I don't carry as a little fetish or little thing that can help me. But other than along the coast, they usually have the old tooth of an old grandfather or a cut off finger, and they carry it, and they believe that it has significant powers. Yeah, it's of the dead spirit, and the spirit is still attached to his teeth or his finger, so I can do a lot of magic with it. Mm-hmm. So that's how the coastal do it. In the highlands, we don't do that. These are all old men know how to talk with them and do the business with the dead spirits.
Do the spirits ever ask for a chicken?
Well, they can ask for a little bird or some little portion of a meat. Yeah, they do. And then what they do is they cook it on the field in the night, in a little way, and then end of the saying all those magical terms, and then they pa! The thing is done right. Everybody scared too, but he was I was scared too. Sorry, boy, scared. Oh,
I think Matthew got scared on that one.
Very scared. And then he hits the fire off with some stone. This thing who knows? It's done in the night with magical terms.